Hi, my name is Karen, and I've been a CASA for 22 years, and at this point have no intention of stopping anytime soon. One of the cases I remember in particular was a family of 8, and the children had been sexually abused as well as neglected as well as physically abused. And when they were put into the foster care system for a short period of time originally, they were put into 6 different foster homes. So just visiting the children in all the different homes was a real challenge. But also the challenge was keeping the children in a familial setting so that they were seeing each other on a regular basis and so that they would not lose touch with one another. The reason this case came into court in the first place was because one of the children in particular was being victimized by the family. The father ended up leaving the home and calling social services and reporting what the mother's behavior was like. And one of those behaviors was to put one of these children down in the basement under the stairs that had been boarded up and just a small little doorway left. And he was put in this basement in the dead of winter with a blanket, a pot to go to the bathroom in, and a shock collar around his neck so that if he tried to get out, he would be shocked, like you would put on a dog that might want to leave the property. The other children in the family were made to victimize this child as well. It was their job to take him down to this basement. It was their job to tell him when it was time to come back up and so forth. And so, this was particularly hard on all the children because they were made to be a part of this abuse and neglect. One of the things that I spent a great deal of time doing was interacting with the various therapists that work with the children. And the reason for that was because I was watching the children on a weekly basis interact with one another as siblings will do, but also hearing some of the things that they had to say and watching some of the ways that they still kind of scapegoated one another. The therapists were very good about giving me a call. I talked to each one of them almost weekly and oftentimes would go to the therapeutic setting with them and be present out in the waiting room to kind of help them feel more comfortable while they waited for their turn. In the end, there was a termination trial that lasted 13 days. I guess it was the longest that they'd experienced to date. And as a CASA, I was asked to testify for several hours about the hundreds of hours I had spent with the children on the case. In the end, there was a termination against both of the parents. This one family, they adopted the 3 children that were younger, as well as welcomed the 2 college-age children and ultimately adopted one of them. But they took on a multitude of challenges. These children came in with heavy emotional issues. One of them had physical and mental challenges. They required a great deal of supervision and a great deal of love and interaction. And this family was amazing. They were like a well-oiled machine that had so much fun with each other. They were crazy about each other. The biological children welcomed the adoptive kids in as if they just were part of the biological family, and they just, every time you went over there, you just couldn't stop grinning from the time you walked in the door until the time you left. And I'm sure that family is absolutely the same way now, and there's probably grandkids involved and marriages involved by this point, and I can just imagine that this was by far the best and most positive outcome we could have ever hoped for. There are so many children that don't have voices and don't have CASAs to speak for them that I can't really visualize myself quitting anytime soon. They'll probably wonder when they're going to get rid of me at some point, but I'm here to stay.